Mo, truth or dare, go give Peixiu a hug. The whole was deathly silent. That was Peixiu, the crown prince of the capital's elite circle, noble and aloof, untouchable. I steeled myself and walked over, gently embracing him under his icy gaze. The next second, a frantic male voice exploded in my mind. Ah, she hugged me. I've been waiting for this day for 3 years. So soft, she smells so good, damn. I can't hold back anymore. The noise in the private room was giving me a headache. My best friend Sun Yanan, holding a wine bottle, cheeks flushed, slurred her words and shouted, come on, keep going, whoever the bottle points to is in for it. The bottle spun rapidly and finally came to a steady stop, pointing directly at me. The whole crowd erupted in cheers. Mo, truth or dare. I resigned myself to choosing truth or dare. Sun Yanan's eyes lit up with a mischievous smile. She pointed to the quietest man in the corner. Go give Peixiu a hug. And make sure it lasts 10 seconds. Instantly, the noise in the entire private room vanished. All eyes turned to me in unison, filled with sympathy and the excitement of watching a spectacle. The man in the corner also slowly raised his eyes at the sound. The dim light fell on his face, outlining his distinct features, with a high-bridged nose, thin lips pressed tightly together, and a pair of sharp phoenix eyes that always carried a hint of casual indifference when looking at others. He was Peixiu, the star of our school, a genius in the architecture department, and the young master of the capital's elite circle whom everyone had to show respect to, noble, aloof, and unapproachable. It is said that the last girl who tried to throw herself at him was so frightened by a single glance from him that she burst into tears on the spot and transferred schools the very next day. Now, Sun Yanan wants me to hug him. This isn't a dare, it's a death wish. Anan, pick another one. I pleaded. No way, Sun Yanan said resolutely, hurry up, otherwise, you'll have to drink 3 cups in a row. I looked at the depth charge on the table, feeling my stomach churn. Forget it, if I die, I die. Under the silent gaze of everyone, I steeled myself and walked step by step toward that corner. Peixiu just sat there, unmoving and silent. He simply watched me approach quietly, his gaze deep, like a frozen lake surface. I felt my legs trembling. Classmate Pei. My voice was as faint as a mosquito's hum. I lost the game, my apologies. After saying that, I steeled my heart, closed my eyes, and reached out my arms to hug him. His body was very stiff. Through the thin shirt, I could feel a faint, cool scent emanating from him, which smelled quite pleasant. I counted silently in my heart. 1, 2, 3, just as I counted to 4. A clear and unfamiliar male voice abruptly exploded in my mind without warning. Holy shit, she hugged me. She actually hugged me. I froze all over, thinking I was hearing things, but the voice continued, brimming with uncontrollable joy. Finally got a hug. I've been waiting for this damn day for 3 whole years. She's so soft, so fragrant. Damn, I can't take it anymore. My heart's about to burst. I need to act a bit aloof. Can't let her see through me. I suddenly opened my eyes, meeting Peixiu's gaze. His face was right in front of me. His expression remained the same unchanging icy demeanor as always, with even a hint of disdain and impatience in his eyes, but the voice in my head was practically bursting with excitement, as if ready to set off fireworks on the spot. Is this his inner thoughts? I was quite startled by this absurd idea and quickly let go of him, taking 2 steps back. 10 seconds are up. Sorry to bother you. I turned around and tried to slip away. Stop. His cool voice rang out from behind. I froze, not daring to turn around. It's over. He's going to settle the score after the fact. The voice in my head rang out again, this time with a hint of frustration and panic. Damn, did I scare her? Was my expression too fierce just now? Why isn't she turning around? Is she angry? Please, just look back at me. I beg you. I was speechless. I took a deep breath, slowly turned around, and forced a smile that looked even worse than crying. Classmate Pei, is there something else? He looked at me, his thin lips parting slightly as he uttered 2 words, come here, yet the voice in his heart was saying, come closer, let me look at you again. I was too nervous just now and didn't get a good look. I was completely certain now. It seems, I can really hear the inner thoughts of this crown prince. I shuffled over slowly, standing before him. My palms were sweating with nervousness. What on earth does he want? Peixiu leaned in slightly, drawing closer to me. A pleasant cedar scent enveloped me. I could hear him roaring inside. Damn, it smells even better up close. How is her skin so flawless, without a single blemish on her face? Your eyes are so big, like a little deer's. They're melting my heart. I was utterly stunned by the overly unrestrained words in his mind, yet, on the surface, I still had to pretend to look innocent and scared. "Classmate Pei," he finally spoke, his voice still as cool and detached as ever. "You're stepping on my foot." I was taken aback and looked down. Sure enough, my canvas shoe was firmly planted on his white sneaker, leaving a dusty imprint. "Ah, sorry." I quickly moved my foot away, my face flushing with embarrassment, but inside, he was wailing, "Damn, why did I say that? I should have said something else, for example, ask her what her name is, which department she's in, what her phone number is." I'm such an idiot. I struggled to hold back my laughter, keeping my head down and not daring to look at him. "Let me help you clean it up." "No need," he coldly refused, but in his heart, he was saying, "Yes, hurry up, use your hands to wipe it for me." I was speechless. This crown prince, your persona and inner monologue are worlds apart. I didn't dare stay any longer, afraid I might burst out laughing. "Then, I'll be going first." I fled back to Sun Yan'an's side as if escaping. Sun Yan'an grabbed me and whispered, "How did it go? Did the crown prince give you a hard time?" "No." I shook my head. Still shaken, not only was there no trouble, it was simply too brilliant. I couldn't help but turn back and glance at Pei Siyu once more. He had already returned to his usual aloof demeanor, looking down at his phone as if nothing had just happened, yet I could clearly hear the voice in his heart. "She's gone. She just left like that. Does she think I'm too fierce, too hard to get along with? It's all because of those bastards who insisted on dragging me to this kind of gathering. No. I have to think of a way to get her contact information." "Got it. That's what I'll do." My heart skipped a beat. What is he up to? Just as I was thinking, my phone suddenly vibrated with a buzz. It was a friend request. "The other party requests to add you as a friend. The profile picture is pitch black. The nickname is a single letter, P." Before I could even react, someone in the private room shouted, "Holy shit, young Master Pei sent a red envelope in the group chat." I grabbed 200. Young Master Pei is so generous. I got one too. "Thank you, young Master Pei." I instinctively opened our temporarily formed party group chat. Sure enough, Pei Siyu just sent a big red envelope of 2,000 yuan. And my phone vibrated again. It was still that friend request from P. The note said, "I am not Pei Siyu." I was speechless. Isn't this a case of protesting too much? "Your Highness the Crown Prince," he was still muttering to himself. Why hasn't she accepted it yet? Did she not see it? Should I send another red envelope to remind her? No, that's too deliberate. Damn it, when is she going to accept my friend request already? I stared at my phone screen, lost in thought. Should I add this friend or not? I finally accepted Pei Siyu's friend request. There was no other choice. His inner monologue was just too noisy. After the acceptance, his heart instantly filled with joy. She accepted. Ha 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 ha. I knew she was into me too. What should I say first? Hello, too old-fashioned. Are you there? Too dumb. Got it. Then, he sent a sticker in the chat box. A cat is tucking its paws in, looking at you with an aloof expression. Caption, "What's up?" I was speechless. Alright then, the aloof persona must be maintained. I replied with a shocked expression. He replied almost instantly, "Which department are you in?" I could hear him screaming in his heart, Tell me. I can't wait to go wait for you outside your department's building." I typed slowly, "Chinese department." "What a coincidence." He replied, "Me too." I was shocked. "Aren't you the genius from the architecture department? When did you switch majors?" He was already starting to plan in his mind. "I'll go to the Chinese literature class tomorrow and sit next to her." "No, I can't sit right next to her. That's too obvious. I'll sit in the row behind her instead. I can smell the fragrance of her hair." He. His creepy laughter gave me goosebumps all over. Is this still the aloof and reserved Pei Siyu? This is practically a pervert. The party ended close to midnight. Sun Yan'an was completely drunk. So I had to help her to the roadside to hail a taxi. Just as we stepped out of the KTV entrance, a black Maybach pulled up right in front of us. The window rolled down, revealing Pei Siyu's face, so handsome it could make both gods and mortals seethe with envy. "Get in," he said succinctly. "I'll take you." As soon as Sun Yan'an saw the handsome guy, she sobered up halfway, broke free from me, and tried to climb into the car. I quickly grabbed her. "No need, we can just take a taxi ourselves." Pei Siyu frowned. What he thought in his heart was, "How can you not use it? It's so dangerous at night. Get in my car quickly. My car is big and comfortable." But what he said was, "It's not on the way." After saying that, he actually rolled up the car window, stepped on the gas, and drove away, leaving me with nothing but a cloud of exhaust fumes. I was stunned. Sun Yenan was also stunned. What does he mean? Is he messing with us? Watching the Maybach disappear into the distance, I fell into deep confusion. Is there something wrong with this crown prince's way of thinking? Can you at least try to align what you think with what you say? Just as I was left speechless, my phone rang again. It was a message from Peixiu. My dad just called and told me to go home right away. It's urgent. Did you manage to hail a cab? Send me the license plate number. Before I could reply, he sent another message. You don't have to send it. I already saw the car you got into. The license plate number is Jing AXXXXX. Send me a message when you get back to the dorm. Looking at this series of messages and recalling his earlier "I can't be bothered with you" attitude, I couldn't help but laugh. So it's just Sundara behavior. I helped Sun Yenan into the car and replied with a "got it." He responded almost instantly, a single so aloof and distant, but I could almost see through the screen, imagining him holding his phone right now, with the corners of his mouth curling up uncontrollably. This man is just too interesting. The next day, I went to my major class. I deliberately chose a seat by the window in the last row. I had just sat down when someone walked in through the back door of the classroom. It was Peixiu. He was dressed in a simple white t-shirt and black pants, carrying a backpack, looking just like an ordinary college student. But his face and his physique were anything but ordinary. The moment he appeared, all the girls in the classroom erupted in excitement. Oh my god, it's Peixiu. Why is he taking classes in our department? He's so handsome, even more so than in the forum photos. Peixiu turned a deaf ear to the surrounding discussions. He walked straight to the spot behind me, pulled out a chair, and sat down. I pretended not to see him and lowered my head to play with my phone, but in my mind, his inner thoughts were already flooding the screen. Here she comes, sitting right behind her. This angle is just perfect. I can see her fair neck. Her hair smells so good. Is it the same shampoo I use? No, it smells much better than mine. Why isn't she paying attention to me? Does she not recognize me? No way, I'm this handsome. She must be playing hard to get. I was speechless. Dude, confidence is good, but you're taking it a bit too far. The class bell rang. The old professor teaching ancient literature walked in, holding a thermal cup. Today, we'll discuss the Book of Songs. The old professor adjusted his glasses. Which student would like to recite Guanju? The classroom fell into complete silence. No one dared to be the first to speak up in a class like this. The old professor's gaze swept across the classroom and finally settled on me, the female student in the last row wearing the white dress. You there? I resigned myself and stood up. Just as I was about to speak, Peixiu's voice suddenly echoed in my mind. Here it comes. The chance to shine is here. If she can't recite it later, I'll be the hero to save the beauty. By then, she'll definitely look at me in a new light and throw herself into my arms. I almost rolled my eyes. Thank you, but I really don't need it. I cleared my throat and began to recite in standard Mandarin. Guan, Guan, cry the fish hawks, on the islet in the river, so delicate the virtuous maiden, a fit mate for our Lord. My voice, neither hurried nor slow, echoed in the quiet classroom. Peixiu's inner thoughts echoed simultaneously. Damn, your voice is so pleasant, like a nightingale's. Fair maiden, a gentleman's good match. Isn't that just talking about me and her? She must be hinting at me. I get it, she's responding to me. I was speechless. Please, can you stop overthinking it already? I finally finished reciting and sat down with a sigh of relief. The old professor nodded with satisfaction. Not bad, very emotional. After class, I immediately packed up my things and prepared to leave. As soon as I stood up, Peixiu blocked my way. He handed over a bottle of water. Here, he thought to himself, take it already. I ran 3 blocks just to buy this. It's that peach-flavored soda brand you love. I looked at the bottle of water, then at him. I really do enjoy drinking this brand of soda water, but I remember, I've never told anyone about it. How did he know? Could it be? A thought flashed through my mind. I tentatively spoke up. I don't like peach flavor. Peixiu was stunned. His inner world instantly crumbled. What? You don't like it? How is that possible? I clearly saw that the trash can outside her dorm building was full of empty bottles of this brand. Could I have been mistaken? Was it her roommate who threw them away? Oh no, I've really put my foot in it. This is so awkward. What should I do now? Waiting online, quite urgent. Watching his petrified expression and the frantic barrage of inner thoughts scrolling through his mind, I finally couldn't hold back and let out a soft chuckle. Because of my laughter, a faint, suspicious blush actually spread across his cheeks. What are you laughing at? He asked. A bit flustered and annoyed, but in his heart, he was thinking, damn, she looks so pretty when she smiles, with those two little dimples. Is she laughing at me for being foolish? Oh well, foolish it is then. If it can bring a smile to a beauty's face, it's worth it. I put away my smile and took the bottle of water from his hand. Thank you, I said. Actually, I lied to you just now. Peach flavor is my favorite. After saying that, I unscrewed the cap and took a big gulp right in front of him. The sweet taste of peach spreads in the mouth. It also sweetens my heart. From that day on, PCU began his blatant harassment of me. He would unfailingly appear in every one of my professional classes, under the guise of being interested in the Chinese literature department's courses. He would coincidentally run into me in the cafeteria, the library, and even on my way to the track for a night run. Then, with his aloof face, he would say the most awkward things to me. For example, in the cafeteria, he would carry his tray and sit down across from me. Is this seat taken? Then he'd think to himself, what a stupid question, I've been watching for 10 minutes, just waiting for you to be alone. Or, for example, in the library, he would sit next to me with a thick architecture book that I couldn't understand at all. Then he would casually push the book a little closer to me, inner monologue, look at me, ask me what this book is. Then I can naturally show off how amazing my major is. Every time, I would pretend not to understand his hints and just go about my own business. He was so anxious that he was practically clawing at the walls in his mind. Why isn't she paying attention to me? Has my charm faded? Am I coming on too strong and annoying her? No, I need to change my approach. So, the next day, he didn't come to class. On the third day, he still didn't come. On the fourth day, he still didn't come. I actually felt a little empty inside. Soon Yenin noticed that I kept absent-mindedly glancing toward the back door during class and couldn't help teasing me. What's wrong, my lady? Missing the crown prince after just a few days apart? Not at all, I insisted stubbornly. Yeah, right. Soon Yenin wore an expression that said, I don't believe a word of it. What's really going on between you two lately? The whole school is saying PCU is chasing after you. We have nothing going on. Nothing going on? Then why does he stick to you like a conjoined twin every day? I was left speechless. That night, I lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep. I opened the chat window with PCU. Our last chat record still remained at the good night message I sent him. He replied with a moon emoji. After that, he never contacted me again. Has he given up? Thinking of this possibility, I inexplicably feel a bit restless. I open his social media feed. It's completely blank. With nothing at all. This guy is so mysterious. I was about to exit when my finger accidentally tapped on the background image above. The background image was enlarged. It was a photo taken at dusk, capturing the entrance of a university. On the stone monument at the school gate, 4 large characters are engraved, Jiangqing University, my alma mater. In the corner of the photo, there is a girl in a white dress, seen from behind, long hair flowing down to the waist, with a slender figure. Though it was just a back view, I recognized it at a glance. That was me. That was a photo my mom took of me 3 years ago, on the day I first arrived at university to register. I even posted about it on my Moments back then. So, PCU had already. My heart suddenly tightened. That thought in his mind. I'd been waiting for this day for 3 years. Wasn't just a joke after all. He really had noticed me 3 years ago. I stared at that photo for a long, long time, until the phone screen dimmed, reflecting my slightly reddened eyes. This fool. Over the weekend, the school held a campus singing competition. Sun Yenin insisted on dragging me to watch. I heard there's a super handsome guy in this final match. It'd be a shame to miss it. I wasn't really interested at first, but I couldn't resist her persistent pestering, so I went anyway. The competition venue was packed with people. We finally managed to find 2 seats in the back row, Sun Yenin and I. The host announced, next up, contestant number 3, PCU from the Department of Architecture. Hearing that name, I suddenly looked up. Under the spotlight, PCU walked slowly onto the stage, holding a guitar. He wore a black shirt today, with the sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing his sturdy forearms. Unlike his usual cool and aloof demeanor, on stage, he was dazzling and impossible to look away from. The entire venue erupted with thunderous screams. Ah, PCU, male god, I love you. Sun Yenin excitedly shouted in my ear, oh my god, so that handsome guy is him. I didn't say anything, just quietly watched him. He sat on the high stool, his slender fingers strumming the strings. A soothing prelude flowed through the auditorium. Then, he began to sing. It was an old English song I had never heard before. His voice was deep and magnetic, like a cello, gently enveloping my ears. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you, he sang with great focus. Yet his gaze pierced through the crowd, landing precisely in my direction. I could hear the voice within his heart. That voice was no longer its usual boisterous self, but carried a hint of nervousness and reverence. "Mo. Did you hear that? This song is for you. From the first time I saw you at the school gate 3 years ago, I knew I was done for. This fool, fell in love with you at first sight." My eyes grew hot, and my vision instantly blurred. So, his disappearance these past few days wasn't because he had given up, he was preparing this surprise. As the song ended, thunderous applause erupted throughout the venue. Pacey put down his guitar, leaned into the microphone, and said a few words. "This song is for a girl I like. I don't know if she's here at the venue today. I just want to tell her." It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing for me. I'd been planning this for a long time. After saying that, he bowed deeply, turned around, and left the stage. The entire auditorium erupted. "Oh my God, Pacey has someone he likes. Who is it? How incredibly lucky. I'm so jealous I could die." Sun Yenan also excitedly grabbed my arm. "Momo, could he be talking about you?" I didn't answer her. I just stood up and, going against the flow of the crowd, ran toward the backstage area. I've never been one to take the initiative, but this time, I want to be brave for him. I found Pacey in the backstage corridor. He was leaning against the wall, smoking with his head down. The swirling smoke blurred his handsome profile. Hearing footsteps, he looked up, seeing it was me. He was clearly taken aback for a moment, then instinctively put out his cigarette. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice a bit hoarse. I could hear the turmoil churning in his heart. "She's here. She's really here. She understood my song. She must be here for me. Damn, did I look ugly just now when I was smoking? Will she hate me?" I walked up to him and stopped. "You sing really well," I said. "Really?" He averted his eyes somewhat awkwardly, just singing casually, but inside, he was leaping with joy. "She said it sounds good. She praised me. I'm so happy." I looked at him, summoning the greatest courage of my life. "Pacey," I enunciated each word clearly. "Do you like me?" The air instantly froze. Pacey's body stiffened. The barrage of thoughts in his mind also eerily vanished at that moment. A blank slate. My heart skipped a beat. Was I too direct? Did I scare him off? Just as I was about to find a crack in the ground to crawl into, he finally reacted. He lifted his eyes and looked at me again, in those always distant phoenix eyes. Emotions I couldn't understand were now surging, complex, profound, and a hint of grievance. "What do you think?" he retorted, his voice low. I was stumped by his question. How would I know? "I can only hear your thoughts, not dive into your mind." Seeing that I didn't respond, he curled his lips in self-mockery. "Mo, do you think it's fun to mess with me?" I was stunned. What? First pretending not to know me, then deliberately stringing me along. He stepped closer, cornering me against the wall, watching me run around you like a fool. "Do you get a sense of satisfaction from that?" I was suffocated by his overwhelming presence. "I didn't," he sneered. "Then why, knowing full well that I like you, have you never given me a response? Why did you?" His voice paused, carrying a barely perceptible tremor. "Give me hope, only to let me down." Looking at his reddened eyes, my heart suddenly clenched. So, what I had arrogantly considered a game was, in his eyes, a cruel form of toying. I thought I was on the 5th level, in control of the whole situation. Little did I know, he had already seen through everything. He knew I was testing him, knew I was teasing him. He was just willingly playing along with me in this act. Because he likes me, so he is willing to set aside all his pride and, like a clown, play along with my act. My nose tingled, and tears nearly fell. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I don't want your apologies." He reached out, gently pinching my chin, forcing me to look up at him. "I just need one word from you, Mo." He stared into my eyes, asking word by word, "Do you, in the end, like me?" His inner voice, at this moment, finally resounded once more, carrying a desperate madness and a humble plea. "Please, tell me you like me, even if it's a lie." I looked into Pacey's reddened eyes, and the deep-seated vulnerability hidden within them. My heart felt as if it were being tightly gripped by an invisible hand. The pain intense. I never knew that this crown prince, who was so arrogant in front of others, could be so humble in love, as if he had fallen into the dust. My clever little tricks must have made him very sad. "Pacey," I sniffled, my voice thick with a nasal tone. Listen carefully. He held his breath, watching me nervously. I stood on tiptoe, leaned close to his ear, and whispered in a voice only the two of us could hear. I like you. I wasn't lying to you. I really do like you. From the moment you first appeared in our classroom, I've liked you. He shuddered all over, his pupils suddenly contracting. I could clearly hear a boom in his mind, as if countless fireworks had exploded simultaneously. What did she say? She said she likes me too, since the first time I went to their classroom, so, I'm not the only one with unrequited feelings. Holy shit, I'm not dreaming, am I? He was so overwhelmed he couldn't even speak, just staring at me dumbfounded. Like the simple-minded son of a wealthy landlord, I couldn't help but laugh at his expression, tears still clinging to my lashes as a smile bloomed across my face. You fool. I reached out and poked his rigid chest. He finally snapped back to reality. The next second, he suddenly stretched out his long arms and tightly pulled me into his embrace. His strength was immense, as if he wanted to press me into his very bones and blood. I was being held so tightly by him that I could barely breathe, yet my heart felt an unprecedented sense of security and contentment. Xiamo. He buried his head in the crook of my neck, his voice muffled, tinged with the lingering fear of having almost lost me. Say it again. Say what? I teased him on purpose. Say that you like me. I won't say it now. He started acting up, like a child who didn't get the candy he wanted. I laughed and pushed him away. You're choking me. Not only did he not let go, he held me even tighter. I won't let go until you say it. His mind was still racing with thoughts. Damn, I finally got to hold her, and this time she was willing, so soft, so fragrant. I don't want to let go for a lifetime. She just said she likes me too, so rounding it up, we're basically boyfriend and girlfriend now. I'll make it official right away, let the whole school know she's mine. Listening to his domineering CEO-style inner monologue, I felt both annoyed and amused. PCU. I patted his back. Let go of me first. I have something to say. I won't let go, he said stubbornly. Say what you have to say like this. Alright. I cleared my throat. I can hear your thoughts. He was speechless. The whole world seemed to fall silent. It took a full half-minute before he slowly, stiffly, let go of me. He looked at me, his expression indescribably vivid: shock, disbelief, incredulity, and a hint of despair. The barrage of thoughts in his mind wasn't just flooding the screen, it had crashed entirely. A snowflake. You, what did you say? His voice trembled. I said. I looked at him leisurely and repeated, I can hear what you're thinking. Ever since that night at the KTV. After I hugged you, I've been able to hear it. His face visibly changed from white to red, then from red to purple, and finally turned deathly pale. It was as if he had been struck by a bolt of lightning, leaving him petrified on the spot. I could even hear the sound of his inner world collapsing. Click. PCU froze on the spot. He just stared at me blankly, his eyes wide as copper bells, his mouth slightly agape, looking as if his entire worldview had just shattered. In his heart, a faint signal finally flickered to life. So, all those times before, what I've waited 3 damn years. What's this about? Sitting behind her and smelling her hair. What's this about? Is she hinting at me? She heard everything. I looked at his horrified expression and very kindly nodded at him. Yes, I heard everything, every single word. He let out a groan and covered his face. His entire body seemed to have lost all its bones, and he slumped weakly against the wall. He was screaming in his heart, I can't face anyone anymore. My aloof and abstinent crown prince persona has completely collapsed. She must think I'm a perverted stalker. I'm done for. She's definitely going to break up with me. We've only been together for less than 5 minutes. I don't want to live anymore. Watching him in this utterly hopeless state, I couldn't hold back and burst into laughter, rocking back and forth. Ha ha ha. PCU, you're just too adorable. He peeked through his fingers with one eye, giving me a resentful look. You're still laughing. I can't help it. Ha 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 ha. I laughed for a full 3 minutes before finally managing to stop. I wiped away the tears from laughing and walked up to him, pulling down the hand that was covering his face. Alright, I won't tease you anymore. I looked at him seriously. I don't think you're a pervert. I just think. I paused, gathering my thoughts. The contrast is quite endearing. He stared at me blankly, his eyes still misty. Really? I nodded emphatically. The little flame in his heart flared up again with a whoosh. She said I'm cute, so she doesn't dislike me like this. Then what about my aloof persona? Should I keep it or not? Seeing his conflicted expression, I took the initiative to hold his hand. His hand was large and warm, with a thin layer of calluses on the palm. The moment I held his hand, his body stiffened again. "Let's go," I said. "I'm hungry, let's go eat." Go where to eat," he stammered, but in his mind, he was thinking. She held my hand, she took the initiative to hold my hand. "I won't wash this hand for a month." I pulled him along as we headed out. "Let's go to the Malatang place at the east gate of the school." He was a bit confused, just that. What he was thinking was, for a first date, shouldn't we go to some Michelin-starred French restaurant? How can we eat Malatang? What's wrong? I turned to look at him. "Does the young master not eat street food?" "Eat," he immediately replied, as if afraid I might change my mind. "I love spicy hot pot the most," but in his heart, he was wailing. "I've never eaten that stuff before. I heard it's super spicy. What if I get diarrhea?" How embarrassing would it be to have diarrhea in front of her? Watching his expression of heroic sacrifice, the corners of my mouth curled higher and higher. This ability to hear inner thoughts seems to be getting more and more interesting. Dating PayCU would definitely not be boring. The news of PayCU and me being together spread across the entire campus in just one day, as if it had grown wings. The school forums server was almost overwhelmed by the traffic. Shocking. Architecture department's heartthrob PayCU is officially off the market. His girlfriend turns out to be CMO. The department belle of the Chinese department. The post included photos of both of us. There were pictures of him singing on stage with his guitar, as well as one of me in the hallway backstage, standing on tiptoe to lean in close to his ear. The angles were clever, and the shots had a nice atmosphere. The comments below were all over the place. "Holy shit, my world just collapsed. My male idol, woo-woo, CMO is my goddess too. Heartbroken, but still sending blessings. These two standing together are just too perfect. Absolutely divine looks." I always said PayCU's song, "Can't Help Falling in Love," was for CMO. My ship has sailed. When Sun Yenin sent me the post link, I was having spicy hot pot with PayCU. It was PayCU's first time trying this commoner food, and he seemed a bit flustered. He looked at the bright red contents of my bowl, his brow furrowed tightly. "Is this even edible?" He was screaming internally. "That looks terrifying, just like poison. Why would she eat that?" I picked up a beef ball and brought it to his lips. "Open your mouth." He looked reluctant, but obediently opened his mouth. I stuffed the meatball into my mouth. He had only chewed twice before his face flushed bright red, then he started frantically sticking out his tongue, searching for water to drink. "Spicy, spicy, 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 spicy." I quickly handed him my glass of iced cola. He clutched the cola and gulped it down, looking at me with teary eyes. He looked exactly like a Samoyed that had been bullied by its owner. He was screaming inside, "Damn, is this even human food? Trying to murder your husband." I was so amused by him that I couldn't stop laughing as I handed him a tissue. "If you can't handle spicy food, just don't eat it." "Who says I can't?" he stubbornly insisted, picking up another bite of enoki mushrooms from my bowl and stuffing it into his mouth with a look of grim determination. The result, of course, was even spicier. He was panting and tearfully accusing me. "CMO, did you do that on purpose?" Looking at his lips, reddened from the spiciness, a mischievous thought suddenly crossed my mind. I leaned in and gently kissed him on the lips, soft, warm, with a hint of spicy hot pot aroma. PayCU froze completely. He forgot the spiciness, forgot to speak, just stared at me foolishly. The voices in his head became stuttered. She kissed me. In front of everyone. So thrilling. My lips are so numb. I don't know if it's from the spiciness or from her kiss. Seeing his innocent look, I couldn't help but lean in again and lick the corner of his mouth. "Still spicy?" I asked knowingly. His face flushed so deeply it looked like it could drip blood. He stammered, "No, not spicy anymore," but in his heart, he was screaming wildly. "Ah, she licked me. How can she be so flirtatious? I can't take it anymore." Satisfied, I sat back and continued eating my spicy hot pot, leaving PayCU alone, sitting across from me, his face flushed all the way down to his neck. What should I do if my boyfriend is too innocent? Of course, tease him more. Ever since he found out I could hear his inner thoughts, PayCU has been feeling down for 2 days. He started trying to control his thoughts. For example, when he's with me, he'll silently recite preface to the Pavilion of Prince Ting in his mind. Yuzhong, an ancient commandery, now the new prefecture of Hongdu. Its stars align with the wings and chariot constellations, its lands connect to Mount Hang and Mount Lu, or he'll silently recite the digits of pi, 3, 141, 592, 6535. watching him with a serious face, pretending to ponder some great life matter. While his mind is just looping these things, I almost spat out my food. I asked him, "What are you thinking about?" He put on an inscrutable expression, "Thinking about the origin of the universe." I was speechless. "Fine, keep pretending." However, this acclimacy didn't last long, because he found that whenever he sees me, all those messy thoughts of his sprout uncontrollably like wild grass. For example, I changed into a new dress. On the surface, he didn't even glance at it, but in his heart, he was showering me with praise. "My wife looks good in anything." A fairy descended to earth. For example, I accidentally sneezed, he said, catching a cold, but in his heart, he was roaring, "Who the hell is cursing my wife? Step forward right now." Another example, when we were studying together, a guy came over to borrow my power bank. He kept a cold face the whole time, not saying a word. In the little notebook of my heart, I've crossed out that guy's name countless times. Laugh all you want. Stay away from my wife, looking like a lumpy squash, and still has the nerve to hit on her. Tomorrow, I'm going to buy 100 power banks and stuff Xiaomo's bag full of them. I lent the power bank to the innocent boy while silently mourning for him in my heart for 3 seconds. "Classmate, you have been unilaterally blacklisted by our crown prince." On the way back to the dormitory in the evening, Peixiu remained sullen. "What's wrong?" I asked him. "Nothing." He kicked a small stone on the roadside, but his heart felt sour. "She's so nice to other boys too. Is she this gentle with everyone? Does she really like me or not?" I stopped walking, turned around, and faced him. "Peixiu," I said seriously, looking at him, "are you jealous?" He stiffened and immediately denied it. "No." "Then why are you unhappy?" "I'm not unhappy." "You do." I didn't. He was screaming inside, "I'm just jealous. I'm about to die of jealousy." "Why are you still talking to that pumpkin?" I sighed as I looked at his stubborn, defiant expression. I reached out, cupped his face in my hands, and forced him to look at me. "Peixiu, I only treat you this way. I don't even know that guy's name. In my eyes, they're all just pumpkins, only you." I stood on tiptoe and kissed his forehead. "Are my handsome guy." He was stunned. It took quite a while before he finally let out a muffled Yet the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curve upward wildly. In his heart, fireworks had already begun to go off. "She said I'm her handsome guy. She said everyone else is just a bunch of pumpkins. Ha 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 ha. I knew it. I'm her favorite." I watched his expression instantly brighten and shook my head helplessly. This man is way too easy to please. He's practically like a big dog. You have to stroke it the right way. During final exam week, Peixiu and I practically lived in the library. He's a genius in the architecture department, and I'm a top student in the Chinese department. When we study together, our efficiency is surprisingly high. Of course, that's assuming we ignore his ill-timed inner monologues. For example, I am writing furiously, working on my literary critique. He sits across from me, propping his chin in his hand, gazing at me with deep affection, thinking to himself, "My wife looks so captivating when she's focused. Want to kiss her. I want to pin her down on the table and kiss her." I was so startled by his brazen words that my pen paused, leaving a long mark on the paper. I looked up and glared at him. "Focus on your book." He immediately sat up straight, picked up his brick-thick structural mechanics textbook, and pretended to study it seriously, but inside, he felt wronged. "So fierce, but I really like it. It's so blissful to be scolded by her." I was speechless. There's no saving him. This person is completely beyond saving. After finishing the last exam, we officially welcomed the summer vacation. My mom asked me to go home and stay for a few days. I told Peixiu. He was drinking water at the time and nearly choked upon hearing it. "Going home?" His internal alarm bells went off. "Is she going home? Which home? Jiangqing? Are we going to start a long-distance relationship?" "No. I absolutely cannot accept a long-distance relationship. What if she goes home and gets swept off her feet by some other handsome guy?" I looked at his expression as if the sky were about to fall and found it a bit amusing. "Just going back for a week." "Not even a week," he blurted out. Only after speaking did he realize his reaction was too strong, and he quickly added, "What I mean is, a week is so short, it would be exhausting to go back and forth." But in his mind, he was calculating, a week is enough time for too many things to happen. "No. I have to go with her." I pretended not to hear his inner thoughts and deliberately said, "It's okay, I don't mind the tiredness." "Well then," he rolled his eyes and came up with an idea. "I'll go with you." "What are you going for?" "I'm going to visit your uncle and aunt," he said seriously. "Since we're together now, It's only right that I should meet your parents. The little abacus in his mind was clattering away. First, go and earn some favorability points, win over the in-laws. That way, she won't be able to run away. I'm such a clever little devil. I looked at his smug expression and deliberately teased him. I haven't told my parents that I'm in a relationship yet. His smile froze on his face. Not told them. Well, I nodded. My mom is very strict and doesn't allow me to date in college. His inner world instantly shifted from sunny skies to a raging storm. No dating in college. What era is this? Oh no, oh no. Getting past the mother-in-law is going to be tough. Is she going to force us to break up? No. I need to prepare a generous gift. I'll win her over with a financial offensive. Watching him alternate between nervousness and determination, I nearly laughed myself into internal injuries. I cleared my throat and said, "But," he immediately looked at me as if grasping at a life-saving straw. "But what?" "But if you can perform well in front of my mom and show her your sincerity, she might agree." Really? His eyes lit up. Of course. Then how should I behave? He humbly sought advice. He had already started making a list in his mind. How about 10 Hermes bags? Shouldn't we also arrange for a Patek Philippe watch? How about just gifting a villa? Hearing his outrageously extravagant idea, I quickly stopped him. No need to go that far. My mom doesn't care about these things. She only hopes that the boyfriend I find will truly be good to me. I looked into his eyes and said earnestly, "Paysiu, do you have a sincere heart?" He nodded without hesitation. "Yes, my heart has been entirely yours since 3 years ago." This time, what he said matched exactly what was in his heart. In the end, I couldn't resist Paysiu and ended up bringing him back to Jiangqing with me. Standing at the door of my house, he was even more nervous than I was. He was carrying gifts in both hands, so nervous that his palms were sweating. Xiao, he whispered to me, "How do I look? Is my hair messy?" I looked him up and down. White shirt, black trousers, hair neatly combed. He looked like a business elite about to negotiate a multi-billion-dollar deal. "That's great." I held back a laugh, very spirited. But in his heart, he was wailing, "Damn, I shouldn't have dressed so formally. Does it look too deliberate? Will your parents think I'm too rigid?" I opened the door, and my mom was busy in the kitchen. "Mom, I'm home." My mom poked her head out of the kitchen, saw me, and immediately broke into a wide smile. "You're back, come on in." Then, her gaze fell on Paysiu behind me, and she froze for a moment. "Who is this, Auntie?" "Hello." Paysiu immediately stepped forward and bowed at a 90-degree angle. "My name is Paysiu, and I am Xiao Mo's boyfriend." When he uttered the word boyfriend, his voice trembled slightly, his heart was pounding. Here it comes, the final judgment. What kind of look will my future mother-in-law give me? Will it be critical, or disdainful? My mother was stunned for a full 10 seconds. Then, she put down the spatula in her hand, walked over, and sized up Paysiu from head to toe. That look was just like picking pork at the market. Paysiu felt extremely uncomfortable under her gaze, his back straight as a board. Not daring to move a muscle, he prayed in his heart, "Please, please let me pass. I'll treat Xiao like an ancestor from now on." Finally, my mother spoke. "You're Xiao Pei, right?" "Yes, yes, yes." "What does your family do?" "Running a small business." "Where are you from?" "Beijing." My mother nodded and asked, "How old are you this year?" 21. "Same age as our Momo." My mother's tone was unreadable, which made Paysiu even more nervous. He had already started rehearsing various scenarios of being rejected in his mind. What if Auntie says, "You two aren't a good match"? What should I do? Should I kneel and beg her? No, a man's pride is worth more than gold. You can't kneel. Then I'll use money. I'll throw money at her until she agrees. Just as he was lost in his wild thoughts, my mom suddenly laughed. She patted Paysiu on the shoulder. "Young man, you look really sharp. Don't just stand at the door. Come in and sit down." Paysiu, his inner monologue was, "That's it, I passed." That simple. I couldn't help but want to laugh at his bewildered expression. My mom pulled Paysiu to sit on the sofa, enthusiastically pouring him tea and offering him fruit. "Xiao Pei, how did you meet my Momo?" "We were college classmates." "Oh, how long have you two been together?" "Just over a month." My mother nodded, then changed the subject. "Xiao Pei, Auntie knows it's normal for young people like you to fall in love, but, you see, Momo is my only daughter, and I cherish her as dearly as my own eyes. You mustn't bully her, understand?" "Auntie, don't you worry." Paysiu immediately sat up straight, almost raising his hand to swear to the heavens, "I would never bully Xiao Mo. I'll only treat her well for a lifetime." he was saying the same thing in his heart. Whoever dares to bully my wife, I'll fight them to the death. My mom smiled with satisfaction. Alright, with those words, I can rest assured, you guys chat, I'll go cook. Xiao Pei, you must stay and try my cooking today. After saying that, my mom hummed a little tune and went back to the kitchen. Pei Siyu watched my mom's retreating figure, still looking utterly incredulous. That's it, settled, otherwise, I shot him a glare. He suddenly leaned in and whispered, does your mom already know about me? How did you know? Intuition. He was analyzing in his mind, the way your mom looked at me was definitely not how you look at a stranger, and the questions she asked were all too routine, like she was just going through the motions. The only explanation is that you already confessed to her, and she had already learned about me through other channels. I have to admire this crown prince's mind. Indeed, I had already informed my mother before returning home. As soon as my mother heard it was Pei Siyu, her eyes lit up. In her words, the son of our city's richest man, how could he be anything less? Hurry up and bring him back for me to see. That's right, Pei Siyu's father is the low-key, mysterious richest man in our city. I only found out about this a few days ago. I looked at Pei Siyu and deliberately said, my mom just thinks you're handsome, that's why she's being so agreeable. He actually believed it, he even smugly touched his own face. Ah, being handsome really has its advantages. I was speechless. In the evening, my dad also came back. Compared to my mother's enthusiasm, my father appeared much more serious. He sat in the main seat on the sofa, interrogating Pei Siyu for a long time as if he were questioning a criminal. He asked about everything from family background to life plans, almost digging up Pei Siyu's entire family history. Pei Siyu sat upright the entire time, answering every question with a humble attitude. He was so nervous he could die. My father-in-law's presence is so intimidating, he's even scarier than my own dad. Did I answer well enough? Did I say anything wrong? He wouldn't disapprove of us being together, would he? During dinner, my dad suddenly brought out a bottle of mitai he had been saving for years. Xiao Pei, do you drink? Pei Siyu braced himself and nodded, a little. He was inwardly wailing, my alcohol tolerance is terrible. I get drunk after just one glass. Is my future father-in-law trying to kill me with alcohol? I quickly gave my dad a meaningful look. My dad pretended not to see it and poured Pei Siyu a full glass. Come on, have a couple of drinks with me. Pei Siyu looked at that glass of baijiu, his face turning pale, but he still picked up the wine glass and downed it in one gulp. The result was that after 3 glasses, he collapsed right onto the dining table. He was still mumbling incoherently, Uncle, I truly like Xiao. I will treat her well. My father looked at his drunken state and finally showed a satisfied smile. He said to me, this kid, not bad. I helplessly rubbed my forehead. The way men test men is really simple and unadorned. I went through great effort to help Pei Siyu to the guest room. After tossing him onto the bed, I went to prepare some hangover soup for him. Just as I turned around, my wrist was grabbed. I looked back, meeting his dazed eyes. He didn't seem completely drunk yet. Xiao. He held my hand, unwilling to let go. What's up? Don't go. He stubbornly held on to me, like a child. I had no choice but to sit down by his bedside. He looked at me and gave a silly grin. Xiao, you're really beautiful. I heard him thinking in his heart, my wife is so beautiful, like a fairy. Would I get hit if I kissed her? I was amused by him. You're drunk. I'm not drunk, he retorted. I'm perfectly sober. To prove he was fully conscious, he struggled to sit up, but he overexerted himself and ended up lunging toward me. He pinned me down on the bed. His face was right in front of mine. Warm breath, tinged with the scent of alcohol, brushed against my face. The atmosphere instantly grew somewhat ambiguous. He looked at me, his gaze deepening. The little beast within him also began to stir restlessly. I really want to kiss her. Her lips look so soft. Will she push me away? Never mind. I'll just kiss her first. He lowered his head, slowly leaning toward my lips. My heart skipped a beat along with it. Just as we were about to kiss, the guest room door was suddenly pushed open. My mom stood at the doorway holding a bowl of hangover soup, looking at us in utter shock. What are you two doing? I was speechless. Pei Siyu was speechless. The air was deathly still. Pei Siyu and I were caught red-handed by my mom in an extremely awkward position. I quickly pushed the man off me and sprang up from the bed. Mom, it's not what you think. Pei Siyu was also startled, his drunkenness half gone as he scrambled off the bed and stood up straight. Auntie, we didn't do anything. He was screaming internally. Fuck, it's over, my innocence. My glorious image in my mother-in-law's eyes. My mother looked at me. Then at PCU, her expression growing very complicated. Finally, she placed the hangover soup heavily on the bedside table. Drink it. Then, she pulled me and headed outside. Come out with me for a moment. Walking into the living room, my mom pressed me down onto the sofa and began a three-way interrogation. Mo, tell me honestly, how far have you two progressed, Mom? We really are just in a pure romantic relationship. Pure, my mom sneered. You were already kissing each other. And you call that pure? That was an accident. I couldn't find the words to defend myself. I don't care if it was an accident or not, my mom said with a serious expression. Mo, listen to me, you're still a student, so don't cause any trouble, understand? I understand, I said softly. And one more thing, my mother lowered her voice, that Xiaopei, he looks decent enough, but is he reliable? Has he tried anything inappropriate with you? No, I quickly shook my head. He treats me very well and respects me a lot. I wasn't lying about that, although PCU's inner drama could fill an entire TV series. In his actions, he has always been a gentleman. Apart from occasionally stealing a kiss from me, he has never crossed any boundaries. My mother still wasn't reassured and spent a long time cautioning me. I finally managed to calm her down. When I returned to the guest room, PCU had already finished the hangover soup. He sat on the edge of the bed, head lowered, like a schoolboy who had done something wrong. Your mom didn't say anything, did she? He asked cautiously. He felt uneasy inside. She must think I'm a scoundrel. I'm never drinking again. Alcohol just causes trouble. I walked over to him and sat down. My mom told me to stay away from you. Said you're not a good person. I said on purpose. He looked up abruptly, his face full of hurt. I'm not. Then what are you? I am. He struggled for a long time before whispering. I genuinely like you. Looking at his pitiful expression, I finally couldn't help but laugh. I reached out and pinched his cheek. Alright, I was just teasing you. My mom just wants us to be mindful of boundaries. He breathed a sigh of relief, then leaned in again and took my hand. Mo. He looked at me, his gaze serious and sincere. Don't worry, I won't do anything reckless. Before I have your permission, I absolutely won't do anything inappropriate to you, he thought to himself. Even though I really want to, I'll hold back. I need to respect my wife's wishes. I want her to know that I love her, not just for her body. Listening to his sincere words, my heart warmed. I turned my hand to hold his, our fingers tightly interlocked. PCU, I said, I believe in you. He looked at me and smiled foolishly. Suddenly, I feel that being able to hear his inner thoughts might be the best gift heaven has given me, because it lets me know that in this world, there is someone who loves me with all his unreserved affection, clumsily yet passionately, and I, too, am in love with him. I leaned in and kissed his lips. This time, it was no longer a fleeting, tentative touch. Instead, it was a long, tender kiss. I could hear fireworks exploding brilliantly in his mind once again. She kissed me first. She seems to really like me. Fuck, this life of mine, it's been worth it. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.